If your butcher block or wood cutting board keeps getting warped or dried out, which if you use it often, I bet it is, this method is something I've been doing for years and it works really well. I do it once a month and I'll walk you through it step by step. It's pretty easy. Our first step is you're gonna half a lemon and you're gonna get some kosher salt. And this is gonna be the first step to remove any deep stains. Then we're gonna work in some oil. This booze block is what I use, mystery oil. I'll link these down below too, but you can get something similar at your local kitchen store, I'm sure. And then we're also gonna hit it with this cream, which seeps in and makes it nice and smooth and prevents it from cracking and getting dirtier quicker. So the trick behind the lemon and the salt, it's pretty simple. The lemon is very acidic, so the acid is gonna seep in and do cleaning. And then the coarse salt is gonna act as a gritty scrubber, right? So it's gonna remove a lot of the dirt and well, not dirt, I'm not throwing dirt on here, but you know what I mean. It's gonna make it a lot cleaner. So how we're gonna do this is we're literally just gonna throw some salt down, and you can use baking soda if you have it. I just happen to not have it, but similar concept. So now that our table is all salted, and you can do this on a much smaller wood cutting board obviously too, we're literally just gonna smear it all over, and the salt, it's gonna be seeping into this lemon and making it like scrubbing device, you know? It's like one of those steel wool pads or something. Think of it like that. You can already tell just the difference between this side and this side. Obviously it's wet, so it looks a little nicer in general, but it's already getting up some of this gunk. And like I said, I try to do this once a month. I'm usually pretty good about it. This time I let it go probably 2 or 3 months, honestly, which makes it perfect for this video. So you can really see the difference after I finish cleaning it. It's gonna look way nicer. Now you're just gonna kind of spot check it. Any spots that look a little worse. A lot of times if, you know, I'm cooking with a beet or something and it seeps into this wood board, I have to do this quite a few times after to get it out. Kind of just depends. So after you scrub it, we're gonna rinse it off with soap and water. For this part, I just grab a sponge from my sink and I give it a good scrub with some hot soapy water. Now don't forget also to do the sides of the butcher block, because a lot of stuff will drip off here as well. Now you can tell it's already looking way nicer than it was before, and that's without the oil or the cream yet, because really we just cleaned it so far. My wife's gonna be pissed at me for using all our paper towels on this. You can use the kitchen towel too if you don't want to waste a bunch of paper towels. All right, so we want to make sure we remove all of the soap, because we're gonna do oil as the next step. We don't want the oil that we're trying to seep into the butcher block having soap seep into it, because we don't want to eat a bunch of soap when we're using butcher block, obviously. Now comes in this oil. Like I said, you can get this stuff from Booze Block, or you can get something pretty similar, I'm sure, at whatever kitchen store you own, or you have nearby you. We're just gonna throw it all over. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure I do it in sequence so I don't miss any spots. All we're doing is we're just rubbing it in. It's just like if you've ever done this to like hardwood floor or something, like a bunch of pine sol. Basically think of it like that. We're just trying to let it seep in to the wood, so it's gonna protect the wood in the long run. It's gonna stop any dirt or grime or food from seeping into the wood, because the wood's like a sponge, think of it as, right? So this oil, it's gonna do a good job to help protect it from that. Now you wanna do a good amount on here. Don't worry about overdoing it a little. Just don't go too crazy with it, but we're gonna go over it with a dry paper towel at the end as well and try to wipe off any remaining oil. The sides are just as important, even though we're not directly cutting on them. So now there's a really thick layer of oil, too much oil actually on here right now. So to fix that, we're simply gonna give it a good wipe off. Wipe the sides too, because you don't want too much oil. Just a nice thin layer that's gonna seep in overnight. Now for this demonstration, I'm not gonna wait overnight to show you, but for best results, let this oil seep in overnight and don't use it in between. Let it really seep in. The next step, we're gonna spray it down, we're gonna wipe it off, and then we're gonna cream it. So we're gonna spray it, some neutral cleaner. You can also do soap and water if you'd like instead. This part takes the longest out of everything, but it's probably the most important, because this is what really deep conditions the wood, and then we're rubbing it in. Now do it in sections, right? Think of your board as rows or columns and rows, and just make sure you hit every part so you don't skip anywhere, because it's kind of hard to see once it smears in. It looks a little shiny overall, but it's easy to forget where you're at, right? After you hit the top, make sure you do the sides as well. So after you do let it sit overnight, you're gonna wet paper towel or kitchen towel, right? You're gonna give it a good wipe. Then you're gonna hit it with some kind of neutral cleaning spray to wipe off any excess, because we don't want the cream getting in our food, obviously, even though it is food rated. So we're gonna wipe this off, especially because I'm not actually letting it sit overnight. If you do let it sit overnight, you should barely even feel it, because it'll all seep into the wood. So as you can see, it looks 10 times better than it did before. So if you enjoyed these tips, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel. I've also got a free e-cookbook down below in the description that you can download.